Now, Mark, the last time that we did a blog was in relation to evangelism.
Yeah.
And you had some interesting thoughts on that. And maybe some folks haven't had a chance to look at that. So maybe could you just go over some of the principles and how you'd like to sort of develop it?
Sure. I mean, if people want to go back and look at that first, that's great. But basically, I was emphasizing how the whole side of evangelism has become a bit of a no-go area for people. They feel guilty, feel ineffective. So therefore, just try and blank that area. And it becomes a no-go area. You don't talk about that. And the last thing they want is people to stand up to encourage them to be evangelists, because it encourages them to feel like a failure.
That's right.
Yeah.
And you were talking a bit about this idea of carrying Jesus, us knowing that we're carrying Jesus.
Yeah. The key thing is getting a revelation that Jesus is in us. I don't know whether you know that. I'm sure you do know the scripture about when Peter was with Christ, and Christ says, "Who do people say that I am?" And the various disciples said, various versions of who he could be. And then Peter comes straight out with it: "You are the Christ, the Son of the living God." And Jesus was like, "Oh wow, you didn't get this from me," and it was pretty obvious. They were a bit dull, but maybe they were just frightened to say what they hoped he was. That basically he got the revelation straight from the Father himself. And then Jesus comes out with this great statement that on this rock he will build the church. Now, there's been many theories about what the rock are, including a play on words of Petra and Petros and so on. But fundamentally what Jesus was on about is on a revelation of Jesus, who he is, the church will be built. And I feel that as Christians, we often don't have a deep revelation of who he is. And revelation is different than knowledge. Knowledge is good, but revelation is like, how do you describe it? It's like, when the penny drops. When one moment you don't get it, and then you do. And it's like, it all comes clear. Yeah. And we need that.
Yeah, So how do we? I suppose the next question is, how do we get revelation?
Right. Well, we seek it. We seek Jesus, and we seek revelation, and we open our hearts to him. We ask for him to reveal to us, not just in head knowledge, although head knowledge is important, that he would reveal to our hearts the real sort of wow, the factor, and we need that. That's like a fuel, and we need to have a revelation that Jesus is in us, and we need to be so convinced of that.
So we can ask for it. We can ask for revelation. We can seek Jesus. We can search it out.
Yeah.
And he is willing to give it, isn't he? That's
the
great thing.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I mean, apart from that, can we sort of in ourselves, sort of create an environment where we can almost like see that? I don't mean of our own sort of pressure and our own sort of initiative, but just something which almost like creates that environment or can help towards that.
Yeah, well, definitely. I think we have a responsibility to encourage each other in what we see in each other. So when we see a friend of ours exhibit Jesus through their life, we actually say, "Well, wow, I saw Jesus in that," And
there's not enough of that.
No, and then the other thing is testimony. That when you've had an experience of God working through you, or you've had a revelation of him, that you communicate that. Don't keep it to yourself. Yeah.
What about practical things? Are there practical things we can do? Sort of like being kind or stuff like that.
Yeah, I think one of the really doable things in life is being kind. And I remember a lady in our church, I was just shouting out, what made you become a Christian? I was trying to point out that people become Christians for lots of different reasons. And this lady said she was just so affected by the kindness of everyone here in Antioch. And that really struck me. It was fantastic. I remember one time I was in the changing rooms of the gym. I was working out, go through seasons of working out and then not so working out. And I was in the gym, and this guy, he was obviously a bit not all there. He was had certain struggles, and you've got to watch your pound for the locker, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Don't put it in first, because you turn your back, get your clothes off. When you turn around, someone's nicked it. Yeah, and you know, there's kids running around just waiting for you to turn your back.
That's right.
And yeah, it's quite funny, really. You know, quite good idea. And so this guy, he turned around. His pound had been stolen. And he was distraught. He did not have another pound. He was quite upset about it, didn't know what to do. And I felt this inner thing, give him a pound. And I was a little bit reluctant. And it came again, give him a pound. So I thought, I'll give him a pound. And through my head was working, how am I going to get this back later? I need to finish at the same time with him. And then something screamed in me, it's only a pound. Give the guy a pound. So I did. I gave him the pound. And I said, look, just keep it, mate. You know, and it straight away it solved the situation. Now it was a full changing room, you know, guys in various states of dress. Don't try and picture it too much. And I didn't get a chance to then turn around and say, and this is Christ in me, and these are the 4 laws, and you know, Jesus died and he rose again. None of that. All it did was leave the question was, well, why did he do that? And it would leave people thinking, why didn't I do that? Kindness has a way of cutting through, and it's tremendously powerful. And it once again it leaves people with a question mark. What makes a guy do that? Why wouldn't I do that? And straight away you've got people on journey again, on a quest to find answers to life and the things that really matter. And I just walked away like, oh yeah, got that one right. I'm a Christian. I really, you know, it's at times like that you really believe that you're a Christian, you know. And we need those times. And times of witnessing, it really kind of convinces you. The Bible even kind of alludes to that, doesn't it? You know, it kind of puts a seal on your spirit that when you witness. And you can walk away, oh, I am saved. And it's great fun, and it's really doable for all. It's not that thing that we're all frightened of doing that's out there.